Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on here. This is my 2006 Subaru Legacy Outback 2.5 XT. This is the bad engine out of that 2.5 XT. These are all parts to the engine out of a 2.5 XT. This is a hopefully lightly used 86,000 mile 2.5 XT block out of another 06 Legacy. Picked this up in New York just a couple days ago. The piston heads look pretty crusty, but we're gonna tear it down a little bit more, get a good look at it. This is a 1998 Subaru Forester Model L. This is a standard car with a factory 2.5 liter, obviously non-turbo. This is what the engine is gonna be going into. So let me try to walk you through what my plan is. I'm gonna try to take the heads off of the bad engine to put on the block of the new engine and put that whole package into Forester. I have a donor car, so the hope is that with the ECU that I need, all the wiring that I need, whatever sort of connectors or unforeseen things to make the swap happen, I'll have with me here with the car. And I know the car ran before because I drove it into the shop. It had a rod knock, which was pretty noticeable when it was cold because I picked this up in the winter. So it was obviously much more noticeable. When draining the oil, there wasn't tons of metal flake in it, so it seems that everything is going to be okay. Like there wasn't metal circulating around. I'm going to take a closer look when I take the pan off, because it would be pretty lame to do all this work and then have the engine grenade again. This car has everything that I need, as far as I know. I have suspension on it, I have brakes on it. My 98 came with drums in the rear, so I'm going to try to be swapping all these things over, so I don't drive a terrifying car with archaic suspension and old worn out brakes on a car that I've just slapped a turbo engine in. Another concern I have is the cooling system. If the factory cooling system on the Forester will be able to keep up with whatever heat demands a turbo engine might put out. I don't even know if that's different. I have the radiator out of this car, obviously, so I can try to swap that out and see if that works. So the point is, there's a lot of unknowns. I don't know what I'm gonna run into. I hope to be having some friends help me on this trip, on this adventure, because I don't know what I'm doing. It'd be cool if this worked. I don't really know though. Let's tear apart an engine. So what you just saw me doing was turning the belt so that all the timing marks align, so that way when I go to take the pressure off the valve train, the valves don't slap against the piston because that could damage them as well. Because again, the heads are what's staying, the block is what I don't care about, so I'm trying to make sure the heads aren't damaged. Let me show you what that looks like. This is the left head as seen from the driver's seat. You want these two double dash marks to line up on the edge of the cam gears. That cut there lines up to this groove here. Same with the bottom cam, the exhaust cam. You want this groove to line up with the cut in the cover right there. And it's a similar story on the right bank as well. Just all these marks lined up means that when the time comes for you to release all the pressure on the valve train, you won't have a problem with valves slapping the piston heads. So speaking of the timing belt, the previous owner mentioned to me that only a couple hundred miles ago he put on these brand new pulleys and that water pump, the idlers, all that. The belt, it's all Gates, it's all brand new. So I'm gonna go ahead and reuse them. I'm inclined to believe him given the condition. I can't recommend that everyone does this. You do take a risk obviously when you reuse parts, but I am gonna go ahead and do that. I'm told that the cam bolts, the cam gear bolts rather, can be very difficult to come off, and that I should try to do them with the belt still on, because I don't have a cam gear tool. I'm told that even those sometimes don't work because they're that tight, so we're gonna see how these go. I believe that it's been off before, I think, but I guess we're gonna find out. Oh, man. Yes, those are tight. So, fun fact, the reason I didn't use a gun on that initially is for two reasons. One, hex heads, when they spin, it's impossible to then get them out. So if you don't have it on right, if you don't have enough initial torque to break the bolt free and you just spin inside the head of the bolt, there's no saving it. Second reason, that's just a bolt. That one has oil that runs through it. That puts a hole right in the center of the bolt, and that makes the bolt a lot weaker. So you also run the risk of potentially cracking it, especially if something is that tight. You don't want to put that much torque to it. I'm sure guys out there do it, and I'm sure it's fine, but I don't want to recommend that you do that. It's a lot of work to take that intake off. But it's off. So now, I'm gonna take apart the timing belt and all the pulleys, all that, to remove these rear covers, because that's the only way to take the heads off, since it all bolts together. And then from there I can start removing the heads. That bolt right there is stripped. I thought, no worries, I'll try to drill it out. Well, it's also hardened. So, worries. All the other bolts are out. So it's just the one. So I think that for now, that's it. I'm gonna figure out what to do with that bolt, and then we'll go from there, because I'm not giving up. If I have to buy another head, then I'm in this deep. I'd just buy another head. I don't want to have to. I'll figure out a way. But that's all I got. This should be fairly straightforward, but I've never done anything like this, so this will be a project and an experiment that I hope you'll join me on.